I see.
don't know.
And edit it out.
Well, Eric, this is the very first podcast that is still unnamed.
I'm honored to be the first guest on said unnamed podcast.
Hey, Meg. We're at Austin's Coffee, and we got some friends walking by. That was Meg.
There'll be more.
Meg, the barista.
See.
At Austin's Coffee. We
Austin's-
met here at Austin's
yeah.
Coffee.
Austin's Coffee is our ancestral home.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what the name of our little duo is?
Yes, our duo is Yin and Yang, which was your idea.
Yes.
One
And
day.
I'm Yang, of course.
No, obviously not. Don't you remember you texted me first and you said thank you, Yang, or something
Okay.
like that? You called
Okay.
me Yang. I was like, what does he mean by calling me Yang?
Okay.
Oh, he must be Yin,
I'm Yin.
and I'm Yang. Okay.
Whew. Yeah. All right. John puts up
You
with
thought
my-
I was Yin?
For a moment. I mean, I was... That's why I keep you around, John, to help me
Or
keep
maybe
things
you
straight.
did say Yin. Thanks, Yin.
Yeah, it seems like you're Yin to me. This feels more natural.
But you came first.
Yeah.
You were the musician before I was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
You started at what age?
was almost 20 when I picked up the guitar. I was writing songs before that, though. I was singing and doing all that stuff and just writing melodies with words in them. And then one day I was out by the pool by my apartment, and some dude was out there too, and he said, "Hey, man, come over and have a beer." I said, "All right." So we went to his apartment and had a beer, and then he started playing the guitar, and I said, "Man, you were really good. How long have you been playing? 2 years? 3 years? 5 years?" He said, "No, 2 months. It's really easy. Here, borrow this other guitar I got," and he gave me a book. And I stayed up the whole night playing. I'm thinking, wow, why did I wait so long to...
Now, how old was that guy?
He was about my age.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just some dude, Scotty, and I never really saw him after that. But,
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
One chance meeting
yeah.
changed everything for you.
As far as music, of course, I probably would have got it anyway. But, hopefully anyway, but... Yeah, I missed this kind of having the teenage years, but that's not too bad of an age to get going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally fine, because you've picked up a lot of stuff since then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best things I did was take lessons. I really recommend that. I mean, when we hang around here, we meet so many music majors with Rollins and UCF and the Full Sail people. So, but if you're not doing that, man, take some lessons.
How many lessons did you take? For how long?
I took them for about 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
with 3 different guys. All 3 of them. Actually, it's been 5 in total, but all 3 of them were good. But the last guy of the first round, his name was Chris Phoebus. He was about 60 years old, and he was just a big man. And they called him the Round Mound of Sound. But
Yeah.
he was the guitar player for the New Jersey Philharmonic.
Oh, wow.
And so he had all these pictures of Glenn Campbell and just people that had passed through the New Jersey Philharmonic circuit, and so he was a fabulous guitar player, jazz, which is not exactly my style, but one great thing was I learned all those jazz chords and learned a lot of the standards, and that's really shaped me as a writer, just kind of having that chord vocabulary. It's diverse, is very...
Yeah, it's one of the big hallmarks of your sound is you love to have fun with chords and really experiment with them and see what you can do. You like to kind of go everywhere with stuff a lot of times.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's good. It's really good. It's really interesting.
And I've got a very simple style too, where I just...
You
things
do.
are very... And I think both of them are just as valid as each other, you know? It's like...
Right.
For me, the music or the song is just something that... I lost my train of thought there, but I want to say something. That might happen a couple of times. I get enamored with John's eyes and I fall to pieces. But I just think when people say, "Do you like music?" It's music is such a generic term. It's songs that I love.
Yeah.
I mean, just those are the things that just wrap their ways around our lives.
Yeah. What kind of music did you grow up on?
I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
And Genesis. When I grew up, I was born in 1960, so At that time, the FM radio was for all the little fogies.
Yeah.
And we got all our music on the AM radio.
Yeah.
And they would play, on those they would play the hits, but they would be from everywhere, from country genre to silly song genre to hard rock genre to very soft and poppy. And
That was AM?
yeah, so you'd get this hodgepodge of everything.
Yeah.
I think I really picked up on that. And
Interesting. Do you
yeah.
remember your favorite radio station growing up?
Oh, no.
No big moniker names.
Well, there was
like
WoWo in there that was AM, but
WoWo?
WoWo, W-O-W.
W-O-W-O.
But I don't think that's what we listened to.
It's the WoWo.
Yeah.
It's
Of course,
the WoWo.
they've turned into talk radio now, but it was a big station back then in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yes.
Fort Wayne, Indiana's WoWo. Back in the year 1912.
It wasn't quite that much. Wasn't quite that much, but
All right.
yeah.
That's cool, man. What an interesting experience having AM radio, and they just kind of threw everything at you.
Yeah, by the
And-
time I was about 15 or 16, that's when the album-oriented stations come on.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, back in those days, we first started out with 45s. I remember riding down to the drugstore every time I got my allowance and getting the 45s, which was a single on one side, and then flip it over, and the B side is another song. So I'd
Yeah.
always go down there. I love getting Neil Diamond and some of the Beatles, but just all the hits of the day. Creedence Clearwater.
Yeah.
Was-
Do you miss that era?
No, but I do reflect back on it,
Yeah.
especially with the music. And pretty much every time I think about a song that I really love, that's woven its way into my life, I will be at some place, like a certain place in my mind. It'll take me back to. I don't know why. Something that maybe just kind of I'm walking down the street in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and
Yeah.
I can picture the place or wherever it was. I kind of got to know the song. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, there are some songs that do it. There are some specific moments where there's really not many songs that do that to me. One is like this artist called DC Talk, which is a Christian band. They had an album called Jesus Freak that came out, and that always reminds me of when I'm playing video games in my old home, and with my being a kid playing Earthworm Jim, a video game on Super Nintendo.
Did you ever introduce yourself?
Oh, for the podcast?
Yeah.
No, everyone knows who I am. It's my podcast.
Whether there's people.
I'm John.
Horton.
I'm a musician. John Horton.
He's a
Yeah.
direct descendant of Johnny Horton, the famous 1950s country and western singer.
I'm not. But yeah, so Earthworm Jim, that was one moment. And then another, back in the year 2011, the summer of that year, I was living at the beach. And I was back in Virginia Beach, and we lived about 3 blocks away from the sand. And I was never a beach kind of person. I just kind of didn't really like the beach that much. And Sean's looking at me wondering what the heck I'm doing.
Mm.
Hope this is okay.
That's Sean, the owner of our ancestral home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and John met in, must have been like February, or early March
Hold
probably.
on, before you get to that story.
Yeah.
I got to finish the other song I said. 2011, I lived at the beach. Never liked to go to the beach. But I remember that was the same year that, I'm pretty sure it was the same year that, what's the name of that band that did Pumped Up Kicks? They are called Foster the People.
Yeah.
Foster the People came out with their first album, and I loved that whole album, that whole summer. And that reminds me of that, driving down the road near the beach. So that's another one. Yeah, so it's definitely interconnected like that. But yeah, we met. You wanted to continue that story?
Oh, yeah. Must have been like March, because it was
I think, yeah, March or February
2016.
2016.
March. It'll be March, I can promise you.
Okay.
Because at that point,
Is that your phone?
yeah.
That's okay. You can get it.
Anyway, no, it's just a text. I'm not worried about at this point.
All right.
So it was March, but right before I met John, in November 25th, one of my very best friends in Indiana passed away real suddenly. I had a heart attack, and then my best friend here 3 months later, Paul, passed away exactly the date 3 days later, or 3 months later, and real suddenly too, kind of a shocking thing there. But Paul was like my partner in music, and I've known him for 40 years. Just I met him as a waiter at Steak and Ale, and I was a dishwasher. He was the only one of the damn waiters that treated us nice at all. So we always just we got along since then, and he was pretty much the guy that recorded my music, and it's kind of like a big brother. He was like 5 years older than I was, and so he passed, and so and I think about a month later or 3 weeks later, I come in and I meet John. We talk a little bit, and
Eric played a really good song that I still love to this day called Lost Souls. That was really good, and that caught me. Especially since he was playing through that really nice acoustic amp you have, and it had like the nice reverb and chorus, I think, you had on it. And it was a song about just being after you pass away, are you a lost soul floating through the universe? Kind of like that. This is part of the concept of it. Yeah. Stranded in the sky. So it caught me off guard, and I was like, dude, I have to record you. And so I eventually did.
Yeah, got that song recording. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'll link the song under this video if I remember to do that. I should.
So anyway, to finish this, so we talking out in the parking lot, right? On the door side of Austin's, and we just started talking a little bit, and I just felt like I had a real connection with him. He was a producer, which I figured out. He wanted to record one of my songs, and I'm thinking, man, this isn't Paul, but it's just like some kind of continuation of it, because they're very different. You guys are very different in a lot of ways, but very similar in many ways too. Was that
Paul was kind of a methodical person in the same way.
Yeah. The same thing with his production.
Yeah.
Where actually
he knew what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very detail oriented with studied the craft and everything.
Yeah, he knew what he wanted to pull out of you and all that kind of stuff.
But unfortunately, he didn't do enough of that with us. That's one thing I regret.
Oh.
And we had talked about where I like a lot of he did 2 solo records for me. And I feel like I'm looking back at it, I could do a lot better with a lot of it. But as we were talking about a lot of the ways we were going to make them do the next one, where we were plotting it out, but they're still decent recordings, and we had 2 groups before that with me, Paul, and a guy named Tom, Mr. Waters, and one iteration was called Screaming Beef, and the other was Big Blue Music, where we wrote and recorded probably 20 songs.
Okay.
And back in the early 90s. You still hear some of those in my repertoire.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good time, actually, Eric. I think we want to see if you can play a song for us. Is that possible right now? You can.
I don't have my guitar with me.
Oh,
wait a minute, I do. Never mind. Of course.
And what's your guitar's name?
She is Ava.
Ava. Mm-hmm. Watch it. You're getting far from the mic now. I don't know if they can hear you as well.
I'm getting a pick. I'm definitely going to play a hit.
All right.
We're going to do a song John usually joins me on. It's called Long Lost Southern Home. And originally, this song was addressed to Charlie, my bartender. Sorry, Charlie, but I gotta go. And it became inevitable pretty soon that it turned into a woman that I was leaving for a warmer clime. And it was just a very simple thing at first, and I've played it over and over and just come up with all the little nooks and crannies. And you can tell, like, when a song's catching on, when they single out a song several times or something. So I call them the hits. And this one's called Long Lost Southern Home. Sorry, baby, but I've gotta go. It's almost winter and I hate the snow. Leaves are falling and a cold wind is starting to blow. Sorry, baby, but I just can't stay. Thank you for the offer anyway, but there's a warm wind calling from my long-lost southern home. Long-lost southern home. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, baby, but I've gotta run. Summer's over and I've had my fun. I'm leaving this city, heading out on my own. This time tomorrow I'll be on my way, all alone along the long highway, 'cause there's a warm wind calling from my long-lost southern home. Long-lost southern home. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, baby, but long goodbyes just ain't my specialty. Living here in this cold north town, it ain't no life for me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Sorry, baby, but I've gotta go. It's almost winter and I hate the snow, and there's a warm wind calling from my long-lost southern home. Long-lost southern home. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah, long-lost southern home.
All right.
Yes.
It's at this point in the podcast that my main camera for Eric stopped working, so the footage that you will see from now on is just the front footage, and I apologize for that. Also, at one point you will probably, no, that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Thanks for sharing that with us, man. So that was for Charlie originally.
Yep.
Charlie, the bartender, you said?
Mhm.
And Charlie was a dude?
He was a bartender, a guy. I'm just thinking about. I'm sitting on my original thing that was in my mind is I'm sitting on the bar stool, getting ready to leave town, talking to the bartender, shooting the breeze with him. Sorry.
Yeah.
But no, it needed to be. So it's not exactly autobiographical.
Autobiographical.
Yes, something.
Autobiographical.
Like that. Thank you. I think you're on to something there, my man.
Oh, man, I love these cars coming by, narrowly avoiding my stuff. This is great.
It is kind of in a perilous spot.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it at a different spot next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That's a great song, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Very simple, I mean.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but you have enough knowledge of music theory to make even the simple things come out. Like the way you hold the G chord and then you do the walk up with your other fingers. You're walking up in that major scale of D, but you're holding that G out in the beginning, which is nice.
Yep.
If it were anyone else, they might maybe just go hit the C instead of the C sharp, because they don't know that the C sharp is the one that you want to hit if you're in the key of D to help emphasize that D sound,
Yeah.
So
kind of the melody part of it starts on that B, but it's just
yeah.
I used to underestimate my intros and stuff until I this woman I hang out with a lot, Katie, which we have a lot of deep philosophical discussions, kind of like you and me do, John, about music. And she said, "What are you talking about? Those are really good, man. That's kind of an evolution of mine, is being more confident in my
So she
my
was
writing.
one. You didn't really like your intros as much, but
I
she was.
I just
she
didn't
said-
think much of them. I just thought, okay, they're just something to do. And
Did that cause you to make your intros more interesting?
no, I just caused me to appreciate it.
Oh, okay, yeah. You were already making interesting intros. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I just kind of underestimated it. Of course, we all go through that with our music or our art. You know, you got to question it. Am I good enough? Is this blah, blah, blah? But I'm in this zone right now where I'm at real peace with it, you know?
Yeah.
I am what I am. My music touches people a lot of the time, and that's kind of what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And most of the time I play, I'm in front of the right people.
Yeah.
We're in the right place. Obviously, you wouldn't want me to be in like a place with a mosh pit playing my type of music, but you know, I wouldn't want those people playing at the senior centers either. Yes, I mean, we all got our place.
Yeah. For sure.
But even though that being said, one of the great things I love about Austin's is the young, old, and all points in between.
Austin's Coffee, right?
Yeah,
here.
Austin's Coffee.
Okay.
Right here on Fairbanks
Yeah.
and Denning.
You get everyone from all
Yeah.
ages.
And
That's one of the reasons why I kept going back too, is there was just a big hodgepodge of people from.
yeah, it's not just
from
the
old to
age
young.
range either. It's like
Oh, yeah.
it's that slice of like Orlando. It's like an international.
Yeah.
We people of all ethnicities and everybody. From
All genres.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody at least. Our night's usually Tuesday, and pretty much everybody comes in it's been a peaceful encounter, you know.
hmm
And
Yeah. What do you think about, speaking of all of these different sounds that come in and these slices, you've experienced a lot of music in your life. You've loved music probably as far back as you can remember.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you've seen a lot of changes. You've seen a lot of things come and go. But I know you well enough to know that you still appreciate a lot of the new music that's coming out. What is your overall opinion about the future of music? How do you think it's going?
Dear God, it's everywhere. You know, it's so much more so much more accessible.
Accessible, yeah.
I mean, the whole.
So by everywhere you mean accessible. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get to. I'll explain that a little bit better here. Back when I was young, you know, it was the Beatles were starting to do all their technology and stuff, but that was in a studio, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I first started talking about recordings and stuff, it was reel to reel, and that was the only thing that was really and it was really not easy to produce anything with great quality and depth, you know. And then it started getting to the four-track studios and give you a lot more capability. But still, you know, you still had to pedal that stuff on your own and learn all the music without the internet, you know, mostly with a book or a teacher or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just, now, with the advent of the internet, it is just so easy to learn to play any instrument you want. The knowledge is just right there at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And so many more people have taken it up.
Yeah.
There's so many more people playing now.
Hmm.
And on every instrument. And there's all that stuff with the writing things. You know, you can just access all this information to broaden your thought just right there at your fingertips.
Yeah.
We never even thought of that wisdom.
You know, it's funny. It's that perspective is interesting because it kind of goes counter to what I've been thinking, or what a lot of people might have been thinking recently with the invention of technology and how music has done, especially with pop music and what's on the radio that's popular, is it's like extremely electronic, right?
Yeah.
It's very produced. You can make these songs in the laptop only if you wanted to, with an external keyboard maybe, and that's it. And that's how a lot of hits are made, really. But what you're saying is that even though the technology has made it easy to do it only on the laptop with a keyboard, and even though the popular music right now is like laptop and keyboard based, people are actually picking up instruments more than ever before because of the advent of YouTube and how many people are giving out free information on YouTube on how to play instruments.
Yeah, just they're more widely available too. I mean, they're ubiquitous. They weren't quite this, I mean, people with all that information, with all the technology and everything available to them, it's just And plus, like for listening to music or getting influences, it is so much easier. You can pretty much look up any piece of music you want to from my generation and now your generation.
Yeah.
And man,
That's mind-blowing, Spotify, right?
Yeah. So people, I know now what I love about a lot of my friends and performers is so many of them love the same music I loved when I was like, anywhere from eight to like 20, or 5 to 20, really. I mean, they appreciate older music.
Yeah.
More than we did. We didn't. Back in our day, the old folks wasn't recorded all that great, and it just. But now then, I feel like our generation's music is, because we had so many of us, the baby boomer generation. Our music just got, and it sounded changed at that point with the electric guitar and rock and roll and electronics.
Yeah. It's interesting. The accessibility of music now with Spotify, Apple Music, and all that stuff has made it easier for people to appreciate older music now, because all that old music is now free to access. And I think maybe, how many years ago was it where they finally put the Beatles on Apple Music?
Seems like about 3 or 4. I don't know though.
It was interesting because that was one of the key moments, I believe, in music streaming, where finally the Beatles were going to be streamed for free on either Apple Music or Spotify. I think it was Apple, but man.
I think Apple started.
And I think Led Zeppelin was a big moment too, because Led Zeppelin didn't have their stuff out. There was a lot of people that didn't, but those two were definitely like, I was really interested in listening to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, but I had to buy them, and I just didn't feel like I had enough money to like spend on that at the time, because those, they had, how many albums did the Beatles have? 10, 9?
They had like 13 of them, I think, on the British versions.
Yeah.
And 19 on the American releases.
Really?
Yeah, because they would take on the early days up till Sgt. Pepper, they would split 2 albums of the British releases and make 3 albums out of it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So that's a lot of extra money I wasn't interested in paying at the time.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about back in the day, though. But
yeah. I mean, I'm just talking about.
I know $1.
Yeah.
It was big, $1 is big back then.
Well, just thinking today, it would cost $10 at least for each one today, probably, if I wanted to get them.
You're talking about no way they can charge $10 for Beatles songs.
For an album, like a physical CD.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, like buying a whole album.
Oh yeah.
It just didn't feel like that was something I was willing to spend on at the time, but now I don't have to.
Yep.
You don't have to pay for any albums practically.
It's crazy.
There's some artists who are still doing it with Bandcamp. They like to put their stuff on Bandcamp and ask people to pay them there, and that seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking but dovetail a little bit back to the new music thing. I think there's just so much great music out there. It's like there's so much talent and so much technology that people are doing such amazing things. It's like you can't keep up with all of it, and sometimes you get a little bit numb to it.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I had to like come to terms with my own music. Is it really, what the heck is it doing?
Yeah.
But then I realized, you get in front of people, and I made peace with that part of it. I'm sure we all go through a lot of that anyway. A performer or a singer.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of awkward. That's okay.
That's all right.
Well, you want to do another song, man?
Sure. You want to play guitar? Can you do that?
You want me to play guitar for you?
For Caroline?
For Caroline?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
guess
finger's
so.
not all the way healed, John.
Let me see.
One of my biggest hits is called Caroline. And people are stunned sometimes. Caroline was not a particular person. Even though there's a place in my mind for a certain person, but her name was not Caroline. And the story's not quite the same either. But, so I wrote this one night and just got really obsessed with it. It kind of went through my mind over and over and over. Fine-tuning the lyrics, and of course then my thing is I really picked like a bunch of, like probably 20 songs that I have like really well rehearsed with the guitar parts and everything. So this one's got all refined. And we're gonna give you the song Caroline. It's as simple as a lullaby that rocks the child to sleep. It's as fast as the ocean and just as deep. It's as pure as a falling snow on a dark December day. It's the way you loved me before I went my way. And I miss you, Caroline, and I hope you're well. And I hope it all works out all right. Oh, I miss you, Caroline, out here so alone. And oh, so very far from home. Sad as a song I sing on this lonesome road I roam. It's as lonely as a child lost, can't find his way home. It's as dark as a forest deep in the blackest shade of night. It's the way I feel right now without you by my side. And I miss you, Caroline, and I hope you're well. And I hope it all works out all right. Oh, I miss you, Caroline, out here so alone. And oh, so very far from home. Oh, Caroline, the day I left you, it's etched so deeply in my mind. Oh, and on this cold November morning here alone, I'm a-wondering now what I thought I'd find. It's as long as the road I'm on is distant as the stars. It's the hum of the highway, the passing of the cars. It's as stark as a certain truth or a sudden twist of fate. It's knowing what I know right now, but knowing much too late. And I miss you, Caroline, and I hope you're well. And I hope it all works out all right. Yeah, oh, I miss you, Caroline, and I'm out here on my own. So very far, I'm oh so very far from home. Yada 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 yo, yada 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 yada. Oh, it's always good to get a musician playing for me.
Thanks for that, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Caroline, the legend of Caroline.
Yes.
Very cool. I kind of feel like that's the big hit.
It's definitely high up there.
That's so.
Yes Deer's pretty
Yeah,
up there
Yes Deer's-
too. Okay.
Yes Deer's fun. Yes, which they have not heard yet.
Nope.
Yeah, it was very good, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for being my partner. See, now one thing is I haven't had a whole lot of people that I don't think ever before this when I performed where I had somebody that knew my song and played it. So I'm a real late bloomer as far as performing
Right.
consistently.
Right. No one's ever performed my songs for me yet.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I've only been really performing as a singer-songwriter, like as myself since 2016. So maybe one day.
Your hits run through my head.
Thanks.
I
Man.
know what my 2 hits for you are actually.
There's Ramona
Yep, that's got to be that one.
and
Earth is a wanting
Take Me to Heaven.
place. Take me to heaven.
yeah, that one's actually on my profile.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
I just that line right there, just whoop. That just shows for me. Now that just shows what a hook can do, or something, or a great lyric, or sometimes it's just as you can put interesting things anywhere. It's right.
Yeah. So Caroline wasn't necessarily inspired by a specific person.
No,
No.
I was kind of sitting down playing. I hadn't been feeling very good. I was had just got my kidney transplant. I was kind of making some adjustments or something, so I was really kind of struggling physically at that point. But for whatever reason, when I was on dialysis, and then shortly after that, during that period, is when I wrote my most music. I don't know, the songs would come to me when I was in the dialysis chair because you had to just sit there for 3 hours with your hands still. So these songs would pop into my head, and I'd.
Were any of your songs specifically about the treatment you were going through and the struggle with that?
No, not really.
No, it was you were escaping from it.
No, not so much. Yeah, I guess I don't know why my mind I was stuck there, and I'm a hyperactive person.
You wanted to sing good thoughts.
Yeah, sometimes you'd get in the right place. I mean, I had it lucky, I got to be honest with you, because there were people that were older and sicker, and they really struggled with it. For me, dialysis was a lifeline. And I got my kidney 13 years ago. And let's talk about the line at Austin's. I learned a lot in that thing. I used to resent it. We'd have to go into Austin's like an hour earlier to get a good slot, because Austin's open mic is where we met, and
Yeah.
just had this beautiful.
That was a learning process.
Yeah, I had this beautiful love affair with it, and it's I started when Chi-Chi was there,
All right.
and you come in at the end of his thing, right?
I don't think I came in when Preston
Okay.
was.
You remember Chi-Chi Kikiana, though, right?
Of course.
Okay, that's right.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah,
They were definitely a really good performance to see.
yeah. That's one of my favorite groups that's ever come through.
Yeah, and then Anna.
Just the energy.
Anna had to move. She got married,
Yeah.
so she had to move to. Where is she? Miami,
Down South Florida.
South Florida. Yeah.
Of course, Chi-Chi, Gregor, and Kevin Green are
Still rocking.
still rocking. Of course, Kevin Green's the famous percussionist. It's in about, 14, 15, 16, 17 bands right now at the same time.
Yeah. KG's killing it. Kevin Green.
Oh, yeah.
Kiki.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're both still doing their duo stuff sometimes here and there, finding gigs wherever they get them.
Yep.
And that line at Austin's was interesting. I would remember every time I introduced Austin's Coffee to someone to tell them to go to the open mic nights.
Yeah.
And for everyone else who doesn't know, Austin's Coffee used to have open mic nights on Tuesday nights.
Singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter centric, but anyone could come and perform it, whatever music they wanted, pretty much. We had guys coming in doing hip hop, guys coming in doing heavy rock, bringing in electric guitars. But it would go from 8 to 12. But I would make sure to tell people that the sign-ups start at 7:30, but the line can oftentimes be filled up with all the people to sign up by 6:30.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of year it is. Like summer,
Yeah.
they'll have it filled up at 6:30. In the winter, it'll be maybe 7 or 7:15, and you might get lucky, you know. So it was that was something I always had to tell people: make sure you get there early.
Yeah,
And,
but I kind of like the I call it learning in line, because we're all doing the same thing. You got 16 people that are performers, right? So
Yeah.
whoever your neighbors were, of course, you know, me and John pretty much we're kind of what they'd call a little talkative.
yeah,
And we just introduce ourselves to everybody, and there's other people in the line that used to be kind of the social things. Andrew was great. Andrew
Yeah.
Levin, he just
yep,
we had these regulars come in, and you know, and then of course new people would pass in and out,
yep,
and of course old people would come back, or the acts that don't come back, they come back to visit when they're in town, or
yeah.
you know, it's just such a hodgepodge.
Do you remember of any acts that like have evolved to a professional state beyond Austin's Coffee?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I mean, I know I started gigging eventually. That's what I started doing. I started actually getting paid to sing at one point, which was great.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of someone who's like made it big, but not no one yet. But I think there are some people who have a lot of potential. There's a lot of people who have a lot of potential.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent, even if they don't have potential to be famous. For me, it's like, well, they're hooked.
Yeah.
And I loved Till Tuesday. No, Tuesday Again.
Tuesday Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got really good after they were 4 music majors.
Yeah.
It was first 2 ukuleles together, and it was kind of I'm thinking, oh my God, it just wasn't. They were good, but they were playing such intricate stuff, and they weren't quite. But then they got better and better as and then they added a bass player and a drummer.
Oh yeah.
And that's when they frickin' came alive, man.
Yeah.
And they got their groove on. They gave them so much more dynamic.
They were a fun, unique band.
Yeah.
Just having 2 ukuleles at the front
Yeah.
was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
funny thing for me is, one day they were out in the famous sideways of Austin's, and I heard him say to one of them, "Have you practiced at all, any of this stuff at all since last time?" "Nope." "Me either." So they all got it, and then they just got together that fast, and
Yeah.
you know, they were, you could tell had their hands on their instruments or their minds on music a lot. But
Yeah.
dynamic just got so much better as they went along, which it's kind of, John and I have seen so many people just blossom from the time they come into Austin to the time they, like,
Yeah.
we got to give a little props to our most improved man, Matthew.
If there's one thing I've seen totally true is that if you're not that great and just like a kind of a sucky musician, I think what people tend to do is when you hear someone play music and it's not good, a lot of people tend to say that that's not for you. That's not your path. But what I've definitely seen, not just here at Austin's, but definitely here, is like
Kind of the melting pot.
people get better. They just come here and they keep playing, they keep going to open mics, and they get better. You can't help but get better if you're trying, and you're trying to get better. And then one day, like one of my memories that stand out the most to me is Cody. Cody, when he first started playing, he was just kind of he did okay, but man, then he joined a band and started playing bass, and then one day he came in and started playing guitar and singing, and he was like a different person. He's like,
yeah, I talked with him a lot about that too. He would look at this happens to a lot of people. It's happened to me too, and where for whatever reason they got their hands they're looking at their shoes instead of kind of facing up, and they're just it's almost like they're not confident or they're not engaged.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they kind of get in when they make that connection, which Cody did. Look at Matthew now with the increased skill he has. His songs are like, or Matthew Hall I'm talking about. His songs are like
Matthew
coming
Hall's gotten
to
a lot better too.
His songs are like coming to life and it's the same song, but he's been on that instrument or into that song over and over.
Yeah.
Where he's just found and he's got his own unique sound, and he's kind of a cool story from Austin's, I think.
Yeah, Matthew Hall. He's actually one of the harder working musicians around here too. He's got a passion for it. He's just recently. Have you seen the back of his car?
No.
He actually redid the interior of the back of his car to prep him for going on the road. And he like put down a whole bed and everything and made compartments. Yeah, you saw that?
The truck? Yeah.
Yeah, the truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's he's ready to go, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to be a reliable third partner.
Third partner for this?
No.
For your other thing?
For our project. John's going to help me with, but
the tailgate thing.
Orlando Open Mic Tailgate Series.
Yeah.
It's
That'll
kind
be
of
cool.
Can I plug it?
What?
Can I plug it?
Yeah, you can plug it. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was
Plug
going
whatever
to
you want.
Anyway, my concept is that I got a nice little Nissan Murano, and Cody, our host over here, Cody Leonard, beautiful man, but our open mic would just fill up, and he didn't feel like taking a slot, so he didn't get to play even though he was hosting, doing all the work. So he would come out to my tailgate out here behind Austin's, and we had this little tradition of him playing a couple songs for me. So he got his moment. And
how often did you do that?
We probably about 2 or 3 times a month.
Really?
But
man,
not,
I don't know how I missed that.
Well, stayed to the end. It wasn't all the way through it. I mean, especially toward the end of the tenure. But I mean, there was enough of it that we had a nice little tradition. I really liked the look of it. So my concept here is having like 2, have the Orlando artists, and there's so many of them that we run into at the open mics circuit. You know, we would never run out of, but have them do their 2 best songs, the ones that people love the most, and the one that they played a lot, so they really put their hits out there basically, and tell us a little bit about the song, and do a little bit of an interview, and it's kind of a short but sweet type deal. And
that's a winner.
Yeah, hopefully we got like 5 of them. We got 5 performers so far.
Yeah.
Recorded.
We've already done 5. I did a song.
Yeah, those were beta. We didn't do the interviews or anything, but we're working on them though.
All right.
We have a taste of them.
Nice.
So right here is when the audio stopped working because I did not put in a memory card that had enough space in it. I did not check that ahead of time to make sure. And it's my first podcast, and that's just... that's what happened. And so we're going to skip a couple minutes ahead to where I realized this and turned it back on. Thanks for hanging out.
Check.
Captured some fireflies in an old mason jar. We both made a wish on a faraway star. The days passed us slowly, the summers were long. We danced the night to a beautiful song. Long, long gone. Da-da-da-do. We captured some memories in these old photographs. I look at them now, and it takes me back. The years pass by quickly, and the summers rolled on. You moved away, the magic was gone. Long, long gone. Well, I still remember the warm summer rain, the first taste of love on our lips. Ba-da-da-do. captured some fireflies in an old mason jar. We both made a wish on a faraway star.
All right. Eric, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome, John.
I definitely wanted you to be the first one for this interview because everyone knows by now that we lost audio at some point. But I wanted to do it with someone I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it'd be relaxed, see what happens. I don't know, but
You
it's
know,
been really
can I be
cool.
honest with you?
Yeah.
It's my first ever podcast I've been involved in.
What?
Yeah.
No
I
way.
was a little bit nervous coming in, but
Huh?
this is kind of like I forget about the audience a little bit, and it's like you and me talking in the car on the way home from Austin's or something. Cause
Yeah.
that's what we talk about a lot. Is just the music.
Yep.
What makes music work?
Yep.
So much of it is dynamics, don't you think? Expressiveness.
Absolutely. Dynamics are what kind of gives it the heart and soul of
Yeah.
music. If you don't have dynamics in music, it's going to be really terrible.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times it is. Some music doesn't necessarily have to have dynamics.
Well,
that's usually like minimalist music.
It's still a dynamic of it, but I mean still,
Yeah, I guess so.
because
Non-dynamics is a dynamic.
yeah, there's a bunch of songs that just have very minimal stuff that made big hits. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
just all over.
Well, thanks again, Eric,
You're
and
welcome.
thanks everyone for tuning in.
Now, I'm going to keep talking on the way out, okay? Music, theory, teacher, aging. Good night.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the podcast. It was my first one. Man, I tell you what, I cringe when I watch myself. I am my own worst critic, probably. And one thing I feel like I've learned about myself watching myself back is that I am a little bit too confrontational sometimes. I think I'm a little bit too, I challenge people too much when it comes to conversation, I think, and that can come off as a little bit unfriendly. So if you picked up on that, I did too. And so let's all grow together, right? Thanks for hanging out and listening. Go sign up for my email list if you want special updates. It's at if you go to johnhortonmusic.com, JONHORTON music.com, you'll see a place to actually sign up for the email list. And also you can just follow me anywhere on Instagram, Facebook, John Horton Music. And I'm also doing TikToks, so go to TikTok and find me there. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you around. Can't wait for the next podcast and doing more of these. This is fun. I like this. Did you like this? Let me know.